What's going on, my Century Unit? Is the Sentiment here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. This one is not a true classic WWE pay-per-view, but it's almost a decade old. It's almost 8 years old. I was supposed to originally review the show last September, but I was unable to do that because I was recovering. I just got my 2 wisdom teeth removed from the back, so it's just what it is. So I'm reviewing Backlash 2016. So this show was at the Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia on the 11th of September 2016. So this show took place 2 days after the 15th anniversary of 9/11. The attendance of the show was 7,000. No buy rate for this show because back then and right now we're in the post pay-per-view buy rate era of WWE. AEW is still doing pay-per-view buy rates. This show is aired in the WWE network, and sadly the network, in our current timeline for most of the world, it's going to get shut down because Raw's moved to Netflix of next year. Anyway, so the commentators for Backlash 2016. We got Mauro Ronaldo, John Bradshaw Layfield, or JBO for short, and David O. Tonga. So this show is kind of memorable for AJ Styles. Spoiler, his coronation, winning his first of 2 WWE Championship. He's going to win in his current run with the company. The crowning of the first ever SmackDown Women's and Tag Team Champions. This is the first Backlash show of the second brand split. The first Backlash show for 7 years. Last time they did Backlash as a pay-per-view for the WWE was in 2009 in the original brand split. This was the first brand exclusive show of the second brand split, and the first one in 9 years. The last time they did a brand exclusive show, that was in the first original brand split, and it was No Way Out 2007. That was the last brand exclusive show they ever done. And then Backlash, the first show after WrestleMania 23, that was a trio branded show. I'm trying to get my words out. Anyway, and also I think Backlash 2016 is the first and only Backlash to air. It will air as a September pay-per-view, because Backlash, if you're familiar of Backlash, used to be the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania. They ended up going back to that cycle the following year, and then they turn it into the May pay-per-view. So I'm going to recap. So the one and only Backlash show to be a September pay-per-view, and then they'll go back to that cycle to do Backlash as the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania. Anyway, so let's do the match on the pre-show to talk about. So the match on the pre-show, we got Baron Corbin taking on Apollo Crews. This was good. I'm not saying this is going to be like an instant classic, It was a fine, decent match, I like the physicality. We were kind of back and forth, In the end, Baron Corbin hit Apollo Crews with the ends of days for the win. So, but Baron Corbin's gimmick back then, compared to right now, in later years of his first run in the main roster, despite of his gimmick being shit, whether it's the Constable Corbin on Raw GM Corbin, King Corbin, Happy Corbin, despite the bad gimmicks, he kind of made it work, I think he kind of had some personality, like I said, people say I'm going to contradict myself, but I'm not, I'm just saying, he kind of make those characters work, despite the bad characters for Baron Corbin, Baron Corbin ended up getting these forced pushes. I feel like his push was a bit forced, winning the Money in the Bank briefcase the following year, and then the United States Championship, King of the Ring, that's another story, enough time I want to talk about it. But you can tell, right now, he kind of find his voice, he proved better on the mic. Back then, he was so bland and vanilla. He's so bland and vanilla. You know, he's not really good on the mic. You know, I think he was kind of like not ready to get called up. He was not ready to call up in the main roster soon. He should have like stayed on NXT a little bit longer. Apollo Crews, I think he took the worst, man. He's just like very bland. You know, his run as United States and IC champion. You know, he ended up doing the Nigerian gimmick. You know, and Commander Aziz. You know, it's not working. You know, that's another story, another time. You know, I don't want to talk about of this review. I'm talking about the actual show. Anyway, so it starts with SmackDown GM Daniel Bryan and SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon just came down to the ring, kind of thanked the fans. You know, I'm gonna say right now, SmackDown back then was relevant. You know, they made SmackDown important. You know, before that, they just don't give a shit. You know, it's just kind of like the Raw clip show instead of becoming the Raw after shows, so something like that. So anyway, so they kind of thanks the fans, giving, putting, running the Raw show with their money, something like that. You had breaking down the card and introduce the first match to kick off the show. Yeah, the buzzword for SmackDown at the time, the land of opportunity. He ended up ditching it, but I don't want to get into it. So anyway, so the first match of the main show to kick off Backlash 2016, we got the 6-pack challenge to crown the inaugural first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. We got Becky Lynch, Natalya, Naomi, Nikki Bella, and Carmella. Did I say Alexa Bliss? Yeah, Alexa Bliss. Forgot. The other competitors in this match. This was a good opener. They they kind of structured it. It's not like rapid eliminations. Alexa was she was the first woman to get eliminated in this match. I think she got eliminated by Naomi and Natalya. It was a kind of like a blockbuster and a powerbomb combo. Before that, I don't know who's fighting. They did like it was a powerbomb and a electric chair combo. That was really good. Nikki Bella and Carmella this is the start of their rivalry that will continue at the end of the year. Carmella turned heel. Nikki came out wearing, I think she came out wearing the Wonder Woman blue shorts, with the stars, the white stars on the shirt. This is 1 year. This is 1 year before the Wonder Woman film came out. Even though like Wonder Woman made her debut on the silver screen, early that year. I'm talking about 2016 in the Batman Superman Dawn of Justice film. It's just setting up the Justice League film the following year. Anyway, so the second one got eliminated was Naomi. I think it was she got eliminated by Natalya. Natalya locking the sharpshooter. I think Natty hit the discus clothesline. I think, I'm not too sure. Anyway, so yeah, Naomi was the second woman to be eliminated in this match. Then Natalya got eliminated by Nikki Bella, but hitting the Rack Attack 2.0. Then Carmella eliminated Nikki Bella with the roll-up. So the final two in this match is Carmella and Becky Lynch. In the end, Becky Lynch locking the disarmer. Before that, Carmella was terrible. She did some crappy looking slaps. But anyway, so like I said, Becky locking the disarmer onto Carmella, tap her out, and Becky Lynch is the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. Long overdue. Becky at the time being in the company for 2 years. She kind of like chasing after the women's belts in both her run in NXT and her early years technically her first year in the main roster, or second year in the main roster. She basically at the time was the bridesmaids, never the bride. So, like her run in NXT, she was in the women's title picture, never won it. And then, fast forward, she's been in the main roster for 1 year. She got called up in 2015. the start of the year, she feuded against Charlotte Flair for the Divas Championship. She was in the women's triple threat match for the women's at the time was the women's championship, and then that was soon to become the Raw Women's Championship. And right now it's the women's world title and just the women's championship, in our current timeline. But seeing Becky winning it was the right call. The only nitpick about this, the roles reverse of the eliminations. I'd rather have Carmella be the first woman to be eliminated, Alexa be the last woman to be eliminated. And fun fact, Becky's first rivalry as the SmackDown Women's Champion will be Alexa Bliss. The build up to this, she had her first match against Alexa Bliss. And Alexa will soon become the second ever SmackDown Women's Champion. She beat Becky for the belt at TLC. They had another match on SmackDown. I think it was in October. You had Alexa doing, have her arm look like dislocated. Oh my god, I want to talk about that. But anyway, so it was a good opener to kick off the show. Crown the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. Nikki Bella and Carmella, like I said, they'll end up feuding until the end of the year. They blow off that rivalry at TLC. Anyway, so let's move on to the next match. So the next match, we got the last chance, or the second chance, tag team match, who will be in the finals of the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Tournament. We got the Usos taking on the Hype Bros. Originally it was supposed to be, Heath Slater and Rhino taking on American Alpha, but it happened on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. American Alpha and the Usos, they compete in that tag team tournament. Usos end up losing to American Alpha, and then afterwards, they turned heel, turned on American Alpha, injuring Chad Gable, kicking Gable's in the back of the knee, locking in the Tequila Sunrise, and turned heel. I think it's for the best, man. I think it's long overdue. They've been doing the war dance Usos, for a few years now. And this was the start of the Usos becoming street thugs, doing the rapping gimmicks. It's just sad. Not sad, but it's funny, in hindsight, they had that rivalry, at WrestleMania 40, they were part of the Bloodline. If they're going to do a Bloodline Civil War 2.0, Solo's version of the Bloodline, or is the Usos teaming up with Roman, but we don't know. But anyway, so this is the second chance to get back into the tournament. The match was good. I think it was. I'm not saying this is an instant classic. It was kind of good. Showcase Usos as heels, they were more ruthless. Denying Zack Ryder. It's funny. I like Zack Ryder. The start of the year. He was Intercontinental Champion, and then lost to the Miz the following night on Raw, and then a few months later, he's just in the tag team with Mojo Rawley. Anyway, so denying Ryder for the hot tag, and Rawley, Ryder end up doing the hot tag, But anyway, I'm trying to keep it short and simple. In the end, the Usos hit Ryder, kicking Ryder in the back of the leg, locking the Tequila Sunrise to make Ryder tap out. Usos advanced into the final of the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Tournament, and I think the right person was the right call was done. So, but anyway, so with the Hype Bros, I wish they'd done more with them, but unfortunately they were kind of like a jobber tag team, and then they ended up splitting up, and then both of them are no longer with the company. Matt Cardona is doing well in the Indies. So anyway, so it was a good match, not a great one. It's just like setting up Usos, advance into the finals of the tournament. Anyway, so let's move on to the next match. So the next match, is for the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz defended the Intercontinental Championship against Dolph Ziggler with Maryse in the corner of the Miz. It's all about this is built up to the people talk about the promo on Talking Smack between Daniel Bryan and the Miz. It was a bit of a power struggle between the Miz and Daniel Bryan. Bryan accusing the Miz of being a coward heel. Miz went on his tirade. I don't want to talk about Miz's promo on Talking Smack. Go and check it out, man. It's really good. I said in my review of Payback 2016. I'm gonna say right now, I say the Miz's run as Intercontinental Champion is underrated. He doesn't really get any credit. So anyway, Ziggler keep calling Miz a coward. So Bryan announced this match at Backlash. Miz taking on Dolph Ziggler. They fought so many times. I think there's the renewed rivalry because I remember the rivalry in 2014. This is revolved around Damien Mizdow, aka Damien Sandow. That's Aaron Stevens. Anyway, so the build up to this, or not the build up to this, you had this segment before the show with the Miz, confronting Daniel Bryan. He said he's like renegotiating his contract. He kind of dig at Bryan. Scoring him, scoring him, he kind of dissed him, like he can do what he kind of failed to do, putting the Prestige back into the Intercontinental Championship, because his fun fact, Daniel Bryan's first feud in the company was against The Miz. There were, going back to the early days of NXT as the game show. And then, Daniel Bryan's first championship in the company was the United States Championship. And the guy who beats that person to win the title was The Miz. Anyway, so Miz doing that promo like I bust my ass, blah blah blah. He didn't say blah blah blah, but anyway, the match between Miz and Dolph Ziggler, I forgot to mention that, a month prior. Ziggler just came off that WWE Championship program with Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam. So anyway, it's a bit of a drop back into the mid card. It's the first time Ziggler was in a world title picture for a couple of years. Anyway, the match between Miz and Dolph Ziggler was fucking good. I thought this was going to be a crap match. Miz is going to be a chicken shit heel. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It's a back and forth match between Miz and Dolph Ziggler. They traded submission holds. The Miz, I feel like before that, Ziggler hit the famous arm to the Miz, injured his knee in the process. Miz locking the figure four leg lock onto Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler locking the sleeper hold. Miz taunting towards Daniel Bryan. Doing the yes chant, did this, the Miz splash into the corner. Miz, said, who's the coward now? Daniel, It's funny they end up feuding 2 years later because at this moment in time, Bryan just had that retirement a couple of years back. He just retired in February of that year, so it's just what it is. It was kind of teasing of a future feud between Daniel Bryan and the Miz. Anyway, I'm trying to keep it short and simple. It was back and forth. I'm gonna say Miz is probably the best Intercontinental Champion at the time since Cody held the belt back in 2011, and I don't think we'll get a good Intercontinental Champion until Gunther won the belt a couple years later. So, anyway, in the end, you had Maryse spraying Ziggler in the face. I think it was perfume or some kind of spray in the eyes of Ziggler. Miz hit the skull crushing finale onto Ziggler to win this match and retain the Intercontinental Championship. So, anyway, bit of a tongue twister moment, but I think it's probably the best match of the night. it's a good chemistry between Miz and Dolph Ziggler, you know. Like, I think they're doing the storyline like Ziggler is the bridesmaid, never the bride. He'll never get the job done. Yeah, this rivalry between Ziggler and The Miz will continue into the end of 2016. You know, it's set up the next match at the next month's pay-per-view. That is No Mercy. You know, this is you had Ziggler went on to beat The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. And then Miz regained the belt back in the ladder match at TLC. And I think this was Ziggler's his feud with the Miz will be Ziggler's last feud as a babyface until Ziggler remain as a heel. He turned heel the start of the next year. So yeah, this was a really good match. You know, probably the best Miz match in his only run in the company. You know, I can't remember what's the last time Miz had a really, really good match. It's hard to say. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. So then, the next match was originally supposed to be Randy Orton taking on Bray Wyatt, but they had this segment early on the show when Bray Wyatt attacked Randy Orton, attack his leg, you know, slamming his leg onto a door. I think they were fighting in like some kind of hallway. So it's the way to rein off Randy Orton off this show because Orton took a massive beating by Brock at SummerSlam the previous month. Brock, beat Randy Orton to the pulp. Fucked him up. He's in the pool of his own blood. So I think back then maybe Orton was not ready to compete. So he's not medical cleared. So and then Orton's moving on to this rivalry with Bray Wyatt. He said like I'm the Predator. I'm the God, blah blah blah, So anyway, so Bray made the referee count out, made the referee count out Orton. So Wyatt won this match via forfeit. So and then the announcer informed Bray Wyatt that he's going to compete in a no holds barred match with a mysterious opponent. And that mysterious opponent is Kane, the Devil's favorite demon. I think it's the first one-on-one match they had since the Ring of Fire match at SummerSlam 3 years ago. That was Bray Wyatt's first pay-per-view match on the main roster. So, anyway, this match, is it a great match or good match? No. Is it a terrible match? Not really. But it was an okay match, bit mediocre. I feel like a match. That's the problem doing brand only pay-per-views, whether it's the first brand split or the second brand split, it just came across a match you probably see on SmackDown, but the no holds barred match, the stipulation was a bit, they kind of use it a little bit, but sometimes I feel like it's a chairs match instead of a no holds barred match, I think Kane was way past his best. I think he was nearly 50, in his late 40s. Back in 2016. I think like Bray hit Kane with the Ron Santon into the announce table or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, so Randy Orton came out limping, hit Bray with the RKO, and then Kane hit Bray with these chokeslam for the win. So this is just a continuation of the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt rivalry, so it's just kind of there. It's just like, I'm not saying it's a terrible match, but it wasn't great. It was just kind of there, I think they fought, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. They had the match the following month at No Mercy, and then Randy Orton ended up being part of the Wyatt family. This is going to be, I think this is the final version of that group. Bray just came off of the reformed version of the group, the second version of the group, with him, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. I think Harper and Rowan was on SmackDown. Strowman is starting his run on Raw, and then Orton was part of the group of the third and final formation of that group, and it'll continue going into WrestleMania 33, and then they had the the horror house match. I can't remember what it's called, at Payback, and then they had the renewed rivalry in 2020. And the last time they had a match 1-on-1 will be at WrestleMania 37. With Alexa Bliss. It's just what it is. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, we've got the finals of the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Tournament. Heath Slater and Rhino taking on the Usos. Just won the last chance match earlier against the Hype Bros. How we got there? So it's this will revolve around the storyline around Heath Slater. He's a free agent. He didn't got drafted of both shows via the draft, so he was on Raw trying to get a contract on Raw. I think he had a brief rivalry, reunion with Jinder Mahal. Future WWE champion, he'll be WWE champion 1 year later, but that was never meant to be. Jinder turning on Heath. Then he was on SmackDown, lost to Rhino to get an opportunity to get a contract to be on the Blue brand. So they kind of offered Heath Slater to compete in the Tag Team Championship Tournament. He's trying to find a partner, and Rhino, decides to be Heath Slater's tag team partner. So, and also, I think it was a month ago before the show. You had Heath Slater confronting Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar says, "I got kids, man. I don't give a shit about your kids." That was that segment. You can probably find it on Savage Moments, something like that, because Heath Slater's a family man. He just came off of that horrifying faction known as the Social Outcast. That's a crap factions in WWE back in 2016. It's got better right now in the current timeline with the Bloodline and the Judgment Day. Imperium, not so much. It's on its last legs. They just kicked out Giovanni Vinci. So anyway, the match between Slater and Rhino and the Usos, good match. Not a great match. It was a decent good match. Similar to that match between Usos and Hype Bros. You had Usos, stopping Heath, performing the hot tag towards Rhino. I think they hit like a double suplex. Slater onto the LED electric ring post. I think this is Rhino's first pay-per-view match on the main roster for almost a decade. His final match of his first run was, I think it was against Sabu. It was at One Night Stand 2005, and then he ended up going to TNA for a decade before going back to the companies. But he had a run in NXT. Anyway, so he got good pop. Fans chant towards Rhino ECW. Anyway, so I'm trying to keep it short and simple, folks. The Usos showing a ruthless streak. Anyway, so in the end, Rhino hit the gore on Jimmy or Jay. Slater pinned one of the Uso twin for the win. Yep, Heath Slater and Rhino are the first inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Champions. It was a good moment for them. I think they, it's a shame they've never done more with that tag team. Heath Slater and Rhino. They end up becoming a jobber tag team, and then it's funny. Like in hindsight, they end up reunite again years later when they're in TNA/Impact Wrestling. They had the rematch the following month at No Mercy, and then the Usos become the second ever tag team champions when they won the belt. I think it was on SmackDown or TLC. I'm not too. It was on TLC. I think it's TLC. I'm not too sure. So yeah, I wish the Usos become the first tag team champions, but it's not meant to be. I think the right person called. So let's move on to the main event. So the main event, we got Dean Ambrose taking on AJ Styles. So Ambrose won the not the SmackDown, but he won the Money in the Bank briefcase at Money in the Bank in June. And then on the same night, after Rollins beat Reigns for the WWE Championship, yet Ambrose cashed on his former Shield tag team member or faction member / rivalry Seth Rollins to win the belt. He's on a 3-month reign as the WWE World Champion at the time. Meanwhile, AJ Styles, just came off beating John Cena at SummerSlam. He beat Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown to get a shot at the WWE Championship. So his run as a heel, he's kind of like this bragging heel, like brags about I beat John Cena. He's did the cackle, that southern cackle, fame's going in his head, I know when again AJ's heel run, he's more natural as a babyface, but I understand why he's in that role. You need a heel on that brand, but it's just what it is, man. I don't want to get into it. So the build up to this, you had AJ hit Ambrose with his trophy. He kind of brought out his trophy he won. I don't know what kind of trophy is that. He low blow him with the trophy. To get heat going towards the pay-per-view. The match between Ambrose and AJ Styles, I think it's the first time they ever fought. Yeah, it's the first time they ever fought, They ever fought before this, and I don't think they fought after this, I'm not too sure. But anyway, so this match was really good. I really liked this match. It was a back and forth between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. I think he did like a suicide dive through the middle rope. AJ sent flying into the announce table, and then threw him into the announce table. Then he did like he kind of run across the two announce tables and hit I think he hit AJ with some. I think when he leaped over the barricade. It was some kind of mini pattern and splash. Anyway, so this match was really good. I think Ambrose kicked out of AJ's repertoire. I think he hit the phenomenal forearm. He hit like the springboard. I call it the phenomenal springboard 450 splash. It was back and forth. I'm trying to keep it in the end, folks. I don't think Ambrose hit his patented like lunatic lariat. I don't think he hit a single dirty deeds. In the end, he was going to hit the dirty deeds, but AJ, I think he threw Ambrose towards the referee in the corner, hit the low blow, hit the Styles Clash. AJ Styles won the WWE Championship for the first time. It was a shocker because AJ's been in the company for 9 years. Made his debut at the Royal Rumble. 9 months. He was in the WWE title picture briefly in the spring of that year. Feuding with Roman Reigns at Payback at Extreme Rules. It was fair. Have AJ chasing after the championship. And now in September, now he's just won the championship. I think they did Ambrose dirty. He was kind of a cookie cutter. The rivalry between Styles and Ambrose will continue until the end of the year. They fought in the triple threat match next month. AJ, Ambrose, and John Cena. Then they had the blow off at TLC, and also during that time period we got the debut of James Ellsworth. He'll beat AJ not once but twice. That's another story for another time. I think AJ is the only guy in history to won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and the WWE Championship. So I think he's the second guy since Kurt. Kurt also is also held both the TNA and the not three belts actually, the TNA, IWGP, and the WWE Championship. But AJ holds the record title, the NWA, the TNA, the IWGP, and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So he held that belt until he dropped the belt to John Cena at the Royal Rumble the start of the next year. So yeah, it's just it's a shame, man. Ambrose will never get one sniff of the championship ever again, and throughout the rest of his only run in the company. You know, he left the company in 2019. It's funny, like, he ended up, like, doing the best work in AEW, becoming a multiple-time world champion in that company. I'm talking about AEW. You know, it got me thinking, you know, in an alternate timeline, you know, I see in my review of WrestleMania 30, you know, what if Ambrose gunning it out, you know, pull up a lot of crap, you know, and see the tunnel on the other side of the light until Vince McMahon is no longer with the company. You know, how he's going to fit in today's dirty product landscape. You know, how he's going to fit in today's WWE. You know, it's funny with AJ right now. He's still with the company. He's just recently fought against Cody Rhodes with that banger. You know, in France. You know, AJ became like an A player in that company. And Ambrose was on his way out. You know, he'll be out on his way out in the next few years. So it's just what it is, man. But yeah, I think the right person won. I wish, you know, back then, I wish Ambrose had a longer run. You know, I wish AJ. You know, it got me thinking, if AJ ended, you know, he debuted at the beginning of the year. It would be cool if AJ ends the year as WWE champion. I don't think he'll probably drop the belt to John Cena at the Royal Rumble. So it's just what it is. So yeah, it's happy to see AJ winning the belt, you know, 9 months. I think he's the first guy to win the championship, the WWE championship, in his first year since Brock did it, you know, back in 2002. And we haven't have a person. It's been Brock. You know, Kurt Angle won it in his rookie year, and then Brock did it in his first year. You know, in 2002, and now AJ did it in 2016. So yeah, it was shocking. You know, my overall rating of Backlash 2016 is an 8 out of 10. Being fair, I think it's a decent, fair result I give this show. I haven't seen most of these Raw, SmackDown, brand exclusive shows of this time period, but I think this is the strongest brand exclusive show in this time period. It was a really good show from top to bottom. They're trying to like hit home, trying to kick off this new era of SmackDown, and they pass it with ease. You know, it starts well with the 6-pack challenge. You know, seeing Becky win the SmackDown Women's title. You know, knowing that Becky will become a multiple-time Women's Champion in the next 8 years. You know, she's now currently the Women's World Champion on Raw in our current timeline, and ends with AJ beating Ambrose for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, no better matches on the show. I'm really shocked. You know, there's none. The only match I put in the okay was the Bray Wyatt versus Kane match. You know, it's just a continuation of the Bray Orton match. You know, yeah, it was the weakest match of the show. But besides that, you know, I think it's an enjoyable, fun show to watch. So, what is your thoughts on Backlash 2016? Do you like the show? Do you hate the show? Or something in between, liking the show or hate the show? Please leave your thoughts on the comment section below. Smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, so the rest of the month of May, I'm going to do a wild card. So I'm going to do a voting poll for what classic WWE pay-per-view you want me to review. I'm not going to tell you. And also I'm going to do a re-review of Over the Edge 1999 because we're close of the 25th anniversary of that show. Until then, this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later, folks.